What do we have here, man? That's some Chinese food. Whoops. So today we're gonna be trying out something I never had before: beef, sweet and sour beef. We've all heard of sweet and sour pork, sweet and sour chicken, but I have never heard of sweet and sour beef until a couple days ago. I've never seen it on the menu. I guess I never really looked for it, but apparently it's a thing over here. It's kind of a Chinese, Korean style, and I'm excited to try this. So the place I ordered it from has two different size options. I got a medium for about 32 bucks and a large for about 40 bucks. I went with the medium here just in case it's Vogue, but it's a decent size. It should satisfy me for now. And it looks like they gave me the beef right here separate from the sauce, which I always appreciate when they do that. Sometimes they just mix it and give it to you, but then it gets soggy, which some people like that here in Korea, I guess, but I would much rather have it separate. We're not gonna get the best views of it, I guess, but we can go ahead and dump this out. Yeah, this is a good amount. This is probably at least like 25 pieces. Smelling good too. Hopefully it's not bogus, and hopefully I can enjoy this whole thing. I feel like it should be good. However, I've never associated beef with sourness, and I usually don't associate it with sweetness. I guess, you know, pork and chicken kind of makes sense sometimes. You know, pork with barbecue, like a vinegar-based barbecue sauce. I love that. And chicken, you can really just go with anything, I guess. But usually with beef, I'm not really thinking of those flavor profiles. But this is gonna be interesting. These feel super light. This is pretty crazy. Let me show you one of these up close. From the outside here, this looks like a typical kind of sweet and sour pork, Korean style Chinese food that you see a lot here. And you always see pork mostly over here. Supposedly they're using the beef loin, so hopefully it should have a nice little tender bite with a little bit of crispiness on the exterior. Here's a quick look at the sauce. As you can see, very thick, almost like a syrupy kind of texture to it. A lot of vegetables in there. And yeah, that's a good pile of sweet and sour beef right there. Pretty good for a medium. I'm feeling this one right here. I am going to coat this one in the sauce for the first bite. Going in. Sorry about that. Let me go in for another bite. Playing this time. All right. It's not bogus. It's good, but it's not blowing my mind, I got to admit. This right here, to me, is very reminiscent to just the classic sweet and sour pork that you find everywhere, except it's almost not as good so far. I don't know. I need a couple more bites. All right, I'm having the same problem that I have when I do eat sweet and sour pork sometimes here in Korea. And here's the thing. So this is, in Korean, you call this 탕수육, which is, I think it's derived from Chinese. It was invented by, I think, this, you know, again, never really just listened to me straight up, but I think it's Chinese immigrants who were living in Korea who came up with this dish. What was I even talking about? So yeah, 탕수육, and I think it just, I don't know exactly what it means. I think it's like sweet vinegar meat. Here's the thing, where's the meat? I'll show you what I'm talking about. So the meat to breading ratio is just not what I'm looking for right there. You can see there is a decent little amount of meat in there, and if I just eat the meat alone, it's not bad, but this is straight breading. And the type of breading they use as well is quite unique. So I think typically it's made out of like a starch and water. Kind of like a slurry perhaps. So it does have that kind of interesting look to it. It's not the classic like fried chicken look. It just needs more meat to the breading ratio. It's tasty. It's real tasty, but I feel like instead of all these pieces, just take however much meat you're gonna use anyway, and just give me like 5 pieces. Just 5 big pieces with a lot of meat and just the same amount of breading, but a lot of meat. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, if you ever do come to Korea and you want to try Korean style Chinese food, be cautious. Like, be warned. I mean, it's just a different take on it. Like, this is what you're gonna get a lot of time. Hey, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll eat all this up. So I don't want to sound like I'm complaining too much, but now, how would I compare this to the pork version? That, like I said, that's the usual, that's the standard. I don't know. I've had places that have used good pork, some places that use bad pork, and it just depends. I think this is kind of middle of the road. I've had worse and better meats. Like, sometimes I prefer the pork. Sometimes this would be better. But I'll be honest, I am just a little bit disappointed because I thought that the beef would really stand out more when it just blended into the background. Still, an enjoyable sweet and sour dish right here. But you could probably get the pork, the same amount of same quality pork for probably like maybe a little bit over half the price. Not probably under half the price. So, yeah. I honestly just can't taste enough of the beef to tell you if the beef specifically works with the sweet and sour sauce. So, kind of a little bit of a fail for my original concept, that is, but it is what it is. Well, we tried it, y'all. We tried it. Probably wouldn't order again unless I was guaranteed to have like big chunks of beef in there. But it is what it is. I'm skating though. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.